Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you're able to join us today to watch another one of yet my videos. I've not done so many of them. This is one first among so many. And here today, I want to share with you my journey coming to a foreign country, which is Cote d'Ivoire. And it is so far away from home. I'm from Uganda. And it wasn't until I received a job offer to come to West Africa that I ever imagined moving away from home. For the biggest chunk of my life, I'd stayed in Uganda and I'd enjoyed the beautiful country. And yet here I was, I had to move to Cote d'Ivoire. It was a feeling of a bit of anxiety. I didn't know what I was going to expect. I didn't know the company that much, but I said, okay, let me go and I see what I can do with it. And you never know, it could turn out to be something very good. And besides, I was thinking, if they're going to steal from me, what would I take? I have nothing. So there I am. I get an offer, and then I decide to travel to West Africa. I traveled to Cote d'Ivoire. Coming here, I had booked a place in an Airbnb where to stay. So where to stay wasn't a very big problem. I know other people come here and they get received, and then they get to be hosted by some people, but I did not get hosted. Again, finding where to sleep was not very hard. Unfortunately, the place I had initially booked, they told me that, you know what, we are not yet ready to host, but we are going to book you into some other place. So that's what they did. They booked me to another place, which was okay. A bit discomforting, but fine. I mean, it was the place was also relatively good. Um, so that's how I started my journey. But prior to that, let me just share with you exactly what happened when I was on the plane coming. I just met someone there, and this person was coming for a conference to Cote d'Ivoire. Fortunately for them, they had been here a number of times, and then they also had a bit of French. For me, I didn't have any French. In my high school, I focused on German, and Germany. Check how I'm mixing up the two language and the country. So I had really done well in German, and then I had never imagined that I would come to West Africa. So luckily for me, I met this gentleman, and we were on the plane together, and I explained to him how it was my first time in Cote d'Ivoire, my first time in West Africa. So when he got off the plane, we booked the same taxi. The taxi dropped him to where he was going to make some presentations. He actually arrived that day. He was needed that day. And for me, the taxi continued to take me to where I was going to lodge. So that's how we get started. Now, I get into Cote d'Ivoire, and the first thing that really strikes me is the heat as you get off the plane. You get strapped by the heat as you get out of the airport. Oh, it is too much. Then you begin sweating there and then. You're sweating because it's a new country, but you're also sweating because the weather is so different from what you are expecting. However, I found that the people in Cote d'Ivoire are people you can trust. They're very likable people. They're very disciplined people. That's not what I find in Uganda. I've seen people lining up for buses. You never see that in Uganda. People will be fighting, getting through the window. It's a life of fixing, flexing your muscles. Here it is very calm. Also, when people talk to you, you may not be that much worried about whether they're trying to take something away from you. They're trustworthy people. They are people you may not worry so much. Although I've been informed that there could be some other places, other parts of Abidjan where you could go and then you're not that safe. But I've never felt unsafe. The number of times I've slept without even closing my door. So many times my windows are always open, so I don't worry so much about people trying to steal from me or trying to grab something from me. I walk around talking on the phone. In Kampala, you have to be very careful. When someone talks to you, you may have to run away fast. But also, there are so many instances where people grab other people's phones as they're talking on them in the car in the traffic jam. I've not experienced that here. I've been warned a number of times to be a little bit more careful, but I mean, for me, it looks like it was a bit of paradise. So the people are nice. Then the the culture is a bit different. So much we are in Kampala in Uganda. It's more of the English way of doing things. In West Africa, it's more of a French way of doing things. People take their time to do certain things. In Uganda, East Africa, we're on the rush. We are trying to move through things as fast as possible. Somehow, life slows down a bit when you come to West Africa. One of the biggest challenges for me, of course, was the language. I remember going to office on the first day. It wasn't hard because the guys at the hotel helped me book a cab. But then later on, I had to struggle by myself, like getting to a building, the office building. Luckily for me, I had downloaded offline maps on Google, so I was able to compare the picture of the building and compare where they were going, see our location, and sometimes I walk along that road or I pass that road where that first journey to work that we took, and I still remember it very well. It is very vivid in my mind. So I still remember that, but it came with a lot of challenges explaining myself and trying to get where I was supposed to go. Luckily for me, on the third day, I met someone. I had booked a taxi, a taxi booked by an app called Yango, and the guy who showed up. First of all, he was late. I almost wanted to abandon him, but he was speaking English, and we were stuck together with this guy from that time. He helped me buy the things I needed for the house. I would give him money and we'd go about, do the shopping, go and look for this, go and do that. And I wasn't so much worried about him stealing from me. Yes, I would wonder, is he going to steal from me? But then when I would check the prices online, we find that probably it is almost the same. There's no much difference. So I would just let it go. The houses, well, you could look for a house. The value of the house, I think, was to me was a bit low. You pay expensively for something which is not as good as you'd get in Kampala. However, there are also very, very, very good houses here, but those, of course, are on a higher end. You pay through the mouth if you're going to stay in such a place. But many people stay in such places, and it's good to live your life and enjoy your life. So however, there are also other instances where the quality of the house may not really match how much you're paying for the house. So that I found out that it's also one of the things that was a bit discouraging. And language-wise, I kept picking up slowly by slowly. Right now, I can speak a bit of French. I can understand a number of things, but language barrier was definitely one of my biggest challenges. Um, if you move around Cote d'Ivoire, definitely you're going to see a lot of beautiful places. I've met some friends here who are local, some friends who are not also from Cote d'Ivoire. The locals took me to local places. They showed me how life is like in Cote d'Ivoire. I've been to the Maquis where you have eaten fish, very lovely fish. I've also been to the high end places where you meet with your colleagues from work and then share. Other places you could go to, like places like Assini. There's a place called Grand Berry. There are many places you could go to, and they're really very very nice places to. You of course pay some good money to get there, but when you get there, the experiences are really worth it. They're really worth it. Personally, I'm a bit of what we call a house person, so I do spend a lot of my time in the house. I don't travel so much, but I've traveled. I've gone to Yamoussoukro, and it's also a very beautiful cathedral there. Roma to be one of the biggest cathedrals in the world. So it's a place that you could go to and enjoy. Cote d'Ivoire is definitely a place that's beautiful, that you find very, very, very good things. Then, of course, one of the most important things as you come into a new country is community. For me, when I came here, I didn't know there was a community that was existing. It's only after I saw some names on email I said, okay, I can maybe trust these people.